Choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
Okay, but so
Is this the question you want to ask?
The same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. Bought the business stop with you?
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment.
I was just surprised that you would blame other people for killing the company. I mean, why would that question upset you? You seem upset by it, are you?
Don, you're more gay than black.
By the way,
Don, you're black.
Don, wait. Gays is hot. You're black?
And as Elon would say, you be the judge.
Don, you done yourself bad. Hey fam, welcome back to One and Done. Now this is kind of a part 2 to the part 1 interview of Don Lemon interviewing Elon Musk. Now, if you can call it an interview. Now people on the left are saying, oh, that's a win for Don Lemon. People with common sense are saying Elon Musk wiped the floor of him. Now, of course, you know I'm in the common sense camp, and I would say Elon slapped this dude silly, but this is really self-mutilation. He slapped himself. He exposed himself for the lunacy propaganda that he always pushes and leans into. Now today, we're going to have a look at some interesting reactions from Patric Bet-David and his panel on PBD podcast, also featuring Dave Rubin. Now they have some super interesting takes, so we are going to start with that, and then we are going to end on a fascinating exchange that I missed in the first video. Now before we jump on in, if you want to help a brother out, help me get to that 1,000 sub club, don't forget to hit the like. Very important, smash the subscribe, ring the notification bell, and send this video far and wide. And without delay, let's roll that tape.
Interview that happened recently with Don Lemon and Elon Musk. And apparently Don, just a few minutes before we went live podcast, he had some, he feels like Elon Musk disrespected him. And folks, please be gentle with the reaction to this. Go ahead, Rob.
Look at the modern
People
phone.
have been asking me what I meant by when I said he did not like answering questions or being held to account from people like me. And so some people took it to mean a racial thing. I meant someone who has a different worldview. But since people raised it and you said what you said, do you think that he was uncomfortable? I didn't want to go there.
Oh, yes, you did.
Do you think he was uncomfortable sitting in front of a gay black guy?
Oh, God, like.
So pathetic.
Oh.
Probably more gay than black, I would think.
What?
I hate to say
What?
that, but I don't know.
He's more gay than black. So she's saying that he's white?
Saying Don Lemon is more gay than black.
I mean, yeah,
that
Elon was more
comfortable with the gay than the black.
Because I thought that was offensive.
I thought.
Well, actually, I probably agree with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but to use it like, bruh, let's be serious. Elon doesn't give a toss about that. All right, Don, you are a hopeless interviewer. You are useless. The fact that you were confused and looked bewildered that he thought you were from the left, that CNN was left-leaning. You lack self-awareness. Don't use the black card or the sexual orientation card. You're just not good at what you do. You were able to get away with it for so long. Your propaganda has finally caught up with you, and the style that you're using is outdated. People have had enough of propaganda, and people like yourself get caught out in these long-form formats. That's why I call you Don Lemon. Now, I wish you all the success. However, I don't think you're going to have success in this field, especially in the long-form format, not unless you change up your mentality. You become more self-aware and stop with the gotcha moments, the propaganda driving, the race card, the race baiting. People are over it, man. You're not adding any value. Now, if you're looking at someone that's adding value, the guy that you're interviewing, you cannot blame Elon for being frustrated. The guy hardly sleeps. He's juggling that many balls, which you should appreciate. And you'll come in with these absolutely dumb, stupid questions. Take the L. You lost. Take the L, bruh.
Like,
But this is the
Right,
lead.
Don, you're more gay than black.
By the way,
Don, you're black. Don, wait. Gaze is hot. You're black?
By the way, this is Kara Swisher, who a week ago was on national TV saying that the San Francisco thing was overblown for ratings. This is her. And people are saying, overblown for ratings, this is a poop map. This is the number of arrests for people that are using needles in front of my house. This is the same reporter that did that. By the way, she's on this book tour right now.
By the way, and that's the go-to to the left. If nobody's paying attention and nobody's listening, it must be because I'm black or I'm gay. Like it's the same playbook.
It's just so damn pathetic. And as an interviewer to lay back on that after, he got owned in his own interview because he owned himself. If we dissected it on my show, Elon. And having met him a couple times, this guy has incredible, generous spirit. He sits there. You can see him thinking everything through, not giving canned answers. He's doing everything that you would want to do when you're sitting down with a great person, right?
And that is beautifully summed up by Dave Rubin. He's absolutely right. Elon comes across as a giving person. He gives his time, and I think he took Twitter for the right reasons. He saw what was happening with Twitter. People with opposing views to the left were getting shut down. And he understands that open conversation is extremely important to advance society. It's important to hear opposing views. Now, the other thing I find with Elon, he's quite humble. He doesn't come out brag, I created this, I did that, I'm a winner, you're a loser. No, he doesn't. Well, I haven't seen it. Now, I don't deep dive into Elon or anything like that. I'm speaking from my own personal exposure to Elon and what other people say about him. But unless my ears and eyes are lying to me, he's definitely a net positive for society, and he is putting his knackers on the line. Show me someone else that's doing that. Why are they always trying to tear down these people like Elon, innovators, job creators, and prop up thoughts and stuff? This is upside down clown world. Bring back meritocracy, please.
And Don is actually reversing all of his old positions. Did you ever see, there's a couple pieces from Lemon about 10 years ago where he talks about how the black community should actually maybe have two parents.
Pick up their parents, get it together.
All of this stuff. And now he's reversing it in real time because he feels that, he's not part of the system anymore. And the fact that the guy, he didn't get fired. He keeps claiming that he got fired by Elon. He demanded, I'm sure you guys covered it, $5 million, a $5 million advance, a Cybertruck, and equity in the company. But there was no deal. He didn't get fired. Elon didn't give him a piece of paper and say, he was just on the platform like we're all on the platform. So, and then he goes on CNN, the network that fired him, to claim that Elon fired. It's this need to be the victim. It is just so sad.
Can I ask you a question about Don specifically?
Now, don't forget Dave Rubin. Quite famously was a left liberal. I think he was on TYT as well. And there is that classic interview where Larry Elder, legend Larry, comes out and schools the bejesus out of Dave Rubin. Now, one of the things I appreciate and admire about Dave Rubin, he generally is level-headed and his mind can be changed. Now, the only place that I've had a disagreement with Dave Rubin so far is his take on Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, if anyone's been following my channel, Vivek's my boy. And if I had a choice, he would have been president because he has the intelligence, he articulates, he's not scared of anybody, yada, yada, yada. I don't need to go through the whole spiel. But apart from that disagreement, I appreciate and agree with most of what Dave Rubin says. Now, Dave Rubin's a gay man. He doesn't necessarily hide it, but he doesn't lean into it, doesn't use it for an excuse for anything. He believes in meritocracy. He believes in propping up people that are going to advance society. He believes in family. And like most people that have any clue, he opposes the woke mind virus. Now, you got to like the guy just for that.
Someone that is an interviewer, as a host, has had very uncomfortable conversations with a wide array of people. What do you think his actual agenda was? Like a lot of it was gotcha questions. He's sitting there with Elon Musk. I would be thinking, hey, if this is going to be my new quote unquote boss who's about to pay me $5 million, I might not push the limit. Do you think there was a further agenda? People basically saying do something? What is your thought?
The agenda is he wants back in the game. He's been handed his hat. He's out of the game. He got fired by CNN for being a hack, which has nothing to do with him being black nor gay.
Now, if you get sacked from CNN for being a hack, you must be a bad hack at that. You must be one of the greatest hacks of all time, because they still have a roster of hacks over there at CNN.
Actually, you could argue that that has clearly helped his career because he has no discernible talent. So, and he's not a particularly good interviewer, right?
You're
So,
right.
like, you were helped by those things. So, but putting that aside, he clearly was, this is my shot. You know what it's like. Like, you're sitting down with someone big. You feel that the machine that you want to, or the game that you want to play in, you're going to get some cred if you take him out. And Elon was just, the thing that's great about him is you can see him thinking it through when he's answering the questions. There is no canned answer there. And that is a beautiful thing.
Now, Dave's right. One thing I notice about Elon is he does stutter and stammer. His brain must be working at 1,000 miles an hour and he's almost tripping up over his own speech. The guy ticks differently. Now, you have to tick differently to be, you know, the genius that he is. Now, all geniuses are a little, they have their quirks. If you look over history, there are plenty of people that, you know, we would deem socially awkward, and Elon comes across a little like that. Hey, I'm not going to hold that against him, because for the greater good of society, he is absolutely a net positive, and I'm not going to push the brother down. His achievements are amazing. Now, if you look at Don Lemon on the other side, the only achievement he seems to bring up is the race card. And in the marketplace of ideas, that is devaluing super, super quick. What else has he got? And that shit ain't gonna work in the long form formats on YouTube and especially on X, because you're gonna get exposed. And Elon did expose him for his shortcomings, his knowledge, or lack thereof.
So when Don is doing this bullshit that he doesn't even believe, you know, he's basically telling Elon, censor more. And Elon's answer, you know, you love censorship so much you can taste it. And it's like, that is right. So Lemon is he's basically trying to bow at the altar of a machine that has no use for him anymore. So then at the end, well, I'm gay and black, so please watch my show.
Yeah. You say a really important thing.
Fact.
For the machine, I felt when I stepped back and looked at it and I saw Elon's comment says, I think Jeff Zucker wrote those questions for you. Elon tweeted that. I think you're right. I think he's been outside, wants to get back inside, and from inside the echo chamber, the bubble of his own liberal thought and those that he salutes, this was an audition to get back into the machine.
Well, because you guys know this in that you've all built this, which is pretty freaking amazing. And I built my show. No one is going to subscribe to Don Lemon, right? There is no fan of Don Lemon. I'll give you $5 a month, Don Lemon, to be a gay black interviewer. Nobody's going to do that. He's not going to generate enough clicks unless he does this. So if he's not in the machine, well, then he's independent. But you can only be independent if you're good and people care about you. So he's grasping at a bunch of stuff. He's got he's probably enjoying this right now, right? Because everybody's talking about it for a couple of days, but it doesn't work in terms of building a business.
No, because what it also does is, it lacks a genuine approach of wanting to have somebody on a show. And the way, he's interviewing him is on 3x5 cards that somebody probably wrote and gave him. And that's like, when I do a town hall, we'll have a list of questions that we'll come up with, and we'll have it on 3x5 cards that we go through. Podcasts, we're just having a conversation. Maybe we'll bring up a story and we'll get into it, right? Or even an interview where it's a one-on-one interview. You're just kind of going and talking to the person based on an outline of 5 or 6 or 7 issues that you want to go through, and then you...
Now, with PBD, I rate him right up there with top interviewers because he is naturally curious. He really wants to understand. That's how I feel. When I watch his interviews, people feel comfortable. They open up to him. PBD is a respectful guy, so he does it in a respectful way, but he's no pushover. He definitely pushes back. Now, if Don Lemon wants to learn anything, he can definitely learn it from Patric, who I believe is right up there. Joe Rogan, they say that he's, top. Personally, I prefer Patric, and that's not a slight on Joe Rogan. That's like saying some people prefer Michael Jordan over LeBron. It's not necessarily a slap on LeBron. Now, LeBron's another subject. I could do a whole video on him. I was a big fanboy, but politically and as a father and husband, I'm going to get sidetracked. But anyway, I don't like the message that he sends. He is a father and husband, and that's what he should be promoting. Anyway, I digress. Back to the video.
You process it, right? The transition from that space into podcasting, this was more of a CNN-style interview. And I don't know if you know, if sometimes when you're going from, you realize, I know what I'm doing, I'm going from this to this to this, they're kind of like, I don't need anyone's advice. I know what I'm doing. It's a very big transition into this game. It's a different game. By the way, again, Shannon Sharp was able to pull it off because Shannon Sharp was able to do a great interview just talking to the people, and it takes off. It's not for everybody. We'll see how he does.
Now, I used to absolutely love Shannon Sharp, and I was introduced to Shannon Sharp through Undisputed. Now, once again, he was a LeBron fan. I was a LeBron fan. He's extremely charismatic. But once again, sort of politically, unfortunately, I've gone off him a wee bit. I haven't really watched Club Shay Shay. Maybe I should revisit that. But I was a huge fan of Shannon Sharp. Absolute charisma. The guy's a beast. So maybe I will go back to
I actually enjoyed the interview with him and Musk. I watched the whole thing, and I enjoyed it because I enjoyed the way Musk handled him trying to corner him, and it didn't happen.
Nothing to add. Self-explanatory and well covered by PBD and Dave Rubin. Now let's get back to that awkward conversation or interview between Elon Musk and Don Lemon.
You have been deeply outspoken about the issue of trans rights. You posted trans rights. You posted that pronouns in bio mean the woke mind virus ate your brain. Do you know what the term woke actually means?
It's come to mean a lot of things.
But what originally it was meant to mean, it's just being aware of inequities in society and being aware of facts and history.
Yeah, I think it's come to be. I think being aware of inequities in society is fine, of course, but trying to blame everything on trying to make everything a race issue is, I think, divisive and corrosive to society.
Even as it relates to trans issues, which is what I'm.
Yeah, race or gender or whatever.
You think that society blames everything on racism now?
It blames a lot of things on it, and yeah.
You think that's unfair?
Yeah.
Why?
I think we should not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on. I think we just treat people like people.
You don't agree that this country was founded on racism and founded on slavery and in many ways inequities? That still continue on to this day?
I think every country at that time, and I think even today, was extremely racist. Every country. And obviously, slavery was present in about half of this country, but was not present in the North. There was racism for sure, but I think we want to look to the future rather than the past, and instead of engaging in constant rehashing of the past. Because in fact, if you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Yes. Well, not everyone was a slave.
No, everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
we are all descended from slaves.
Yeah.
Well, all of us.
Yeah.
So it's just a question of when. Was it more recent or less recent? That's it.
Right.
But what future do we want? Is this something we want to make a part of our constant dialogue forever, or do we want to say, like, let's just move on and treat everyone, according to just who they are as an individual?
I agree with you with that. That's the ideal. But what the evidence shows is that that's not what's actually in practice.
I think we're doing better than anywhere else.
That's true. Bro. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who aren't able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because the color of your skin.
What advantages did my color of my skin give me?
Well, there's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't.
This guy is a dead set numpty. He doesn't want people to criticize his lived experience, but he wants to criticize Elon's lived experience. He doesn't know what Elon's been through. He wouldn't have a clue, and in fact, he doesn't give a. This guy is so disingenuous. This is why I couldn't get through the whole interview. He absolutely tips over the scale of delusion.
You were able to come to this country
Boy.
voluntarily. There are many people who were not able to come to the country voluntarily. There are people who came here
It was
as
very difficult
slaves.
for me to come here.
And there is a legacy of slavery that still continues on. There's a legacy of racism that still continues on in this country. That's undeniable.
Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away. If we keep making that the central thing, it will never go away.
Well, why do you believe that?
I think I'm just making a simple statement of fact. So
Because he has more than 2 brain cells, numpty.
I think we want to get away from making everything a race or a gender or whatever issue, and just treat people like individuals.
Do you have any desire to understand what many people of color and even trans people, how they feel about this country and how they're treated in this country? If they say and they believe that they are treated a certain way in this country, why don't you believe them?
You cannot have a situation where someone is a self-described victim and they just get to be that because that's how they feel.
I think that does happen in some cases, but
in
not
your
all
case.
cases.
Yeah,
And
in
I
your
think that
case.
not understanding the history of the country, I think, is a real shame. Look, I've had
Shame on you.
Should understand the history of the country and other countries.
I've had incredible opportunities as a person of color,
Right.
but I've also
You're doing very well.
But I've also been discriminated against, and I know that I have, and I know that that's real. And
Who hasn't been discriminated against? This guy for real? Man. This guy is another mellow puff. Van Jones 2.0. This guy is as soft as a wet tissue. He's falling to bits in front of our eyes. Seriously. This is why reparations wouldn't work, because this guy's got money, but he's still a clown. This is damn hard to watch.
And for someone to say that that isn't happening, I should just move forward and not think about that and ignore the past is insulting.
I'm not saying it. Don, you keep putting words in my mouth. I'm not saying it's.
I didn't say that you said
I'm
it.
saying that we want to. We as a country should move beyond the questions of race and gender, and we should treat people like individuals and base our opinions on them on the, their character and their skills.
I don't think that anyone will disagree with that.
Exactly.
All I'm saying is that that's not happening and it's not equal for everyone. That those opportunities don't happen for everyone. And I am a living example that they don't. I know that they don't because I live it.
You've been incredibly successful.
I have been,
And
in spite of it all.
But your ass is going to get sacked because you are dopey.
But I
Oh
am,
my God.
I know what I know. I've experienced what I've experienced. You haven't done that. And I cannot, I don't know what it's like to be from South Africa. I don't know what it's like to be a white man. I don't know what it's like to be a woman. I don't know what it's like to be a Latino person. I don't know that. So I wouldn't speak for them and just say, you need to move on. It's not for me to say.
What are you doing in the business if you don't know anything? And by the way, you've just been found out because you know nothing. You're clearly out of your depth. You need to go back to mainstream liberal media where your thoughts are curtailed and controlled, because you're given this opportunity to speak your mind and express yourself. Unfortunately, you have expressed yourself, and quite frankly, it's not too pleasant. But you're interviewing one of the most intelligent, successful men on the planet, and you're talking about how you're a victim. Boo-hoo-woo. Why don't you leave your New York apartment for once and travel to the countries where there are real victims? People today who barely can eat, let alone get an education. I'm sort of glad in a way that he's on here because he is getting his ass exposed, folks.
I believe that it would be great if the country could live up to that ideal. You think that everyone has the same opportunities in America, regardless of their background and ethnicity. Do you agree?
No, I don't think everyone has the same opportunities.
Okay. So when you talk about, let's talk about trans rights. When you decided to talk about the trans rights movement, you said that it was a woke mind virus. Why do you believe the trans rights movement is a woke mind virus? What do you mean by woke mind virus?
Woke mind virus is when you stop caring about people's skills and their integrity, and you start focusing instead on gender and race and other things that are different from that. I think the woke mind virus is fundamentally racist, fundamentally sexist, and fundamentally evil.
Okay.
And we've got a little bit more time, so
yeah.
you choose your question.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you for that. But I would appreciate you answering these. I think it's important that we're doing this. I think it's important to the world to hear this, especially what's going on in our country. The reason I ask you, listen, there are a whole lot of things that people maybe have questions about when it comes to transgender people. Even people who are part of the LGBTQ plus community have questions about that. But if you are a free speech absolutist, right? And that is part of the First Amendment. Also, the freedom of expression falls under that First Amendment as well. So why can't people choose to identify with the gender that they feel comfortable with, or with use a pronoun? Isn't that part of freedom of expression?
I guess no. They can ask others to do whatever they feel. They can ask others to do anything. It's a different question whether they mandate that others do that thing.
Okay. Let's talk more about free speech.
Boom, boom. You're an idiot. Most people don't care about your sexual orientation. Who gives a? If I'm going into Subway to get a sandwich, I want a sandwich and I want service. I don't want to know what your pronouns are. I don't want to know if you're heterosexual, gay, lesbian, or anything else. Give me my sandwich and keep it moving. Give me the service that I'm coming in and paying for. I don't want to worship your sexual orientation. If I want to worship anyone, I will go to a church. Thank you very much. And I 100% agree with Elon. Do not mandate this BS. That is the problem. Forcing people to go along with your ideology. Just like anything, bring it to the market and let people decide. And the trend is showing that people are going back to common sense. If we look around the world, we can see common sense politicians winning, going back to promoting family values, not sexual orientation, DEI, and this victim mindset, victim mind virus.
And for advertisers, right? Because all this controversy, I believe, as you know, has made X less appealing to advertisers. About half of them have left the platform. You call advertisers that left X.com. You said they were oppressors. You've even gone as far as saying,
yeah, Disney, go woke, go broke. And I love Elon's response. I'm not going to say it here, but if I'm sure you people heard what he had to say to Disney and Bob Iger. Go yourself. And you got to admire the kahunas on Elon Musk. He's just keeping it moving, folks.
And publicly, that they can go F themselves or go fuck themselves.
If they're going to force censorship on the company before advertising, then obviously I find that unacceptable.
You find it unacceptable. Why is that not a form of free speech? They are free to advertise where they want. They're not beholden to, they're not obligated to advertise.
They're not obligated.
On X.com.
Right.
So how is that not free speech?
So that's, whereas the other platforms will censor on behalf of advertisers, the X platform will not.
Okay. So, but you think you don't think it's okay for them not to advertise with or have their content or their advertisement next to something that is anti-Semitic or
that is a different question. You can absolutely choose where next to which content do you want advertising to appear. Absolutely, of course. Mm-hmm. And we have, I think, very good ad placement controls in this regard.
Yeah. So you said if they kill the company, it's them. But doesn't the buck stop with you? I mean, you're
John, I have to say, choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
Okay, but so
is this the question you want to ask?
Same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. The buck doesn't stop with you?
I acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First Amendment. and I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
So I have to be, listen, I'm just being honest, right? I'm not trying to like get you or anything.
Oh, yes, you are,
I
Donnie.
was just surprised that you would blame other people for killing the company. I mean, when you say the buck stops with the president of the United States, regardless of what happens, right? So why would,
Bruh, the president ain't really running shit. He's a mouthpiece.
why would that question upset you? You seem upset by it, are you?
I think
And I'm not trying to upset you.
well, you are upsetting me because the way you're phrasing questions, I think, is not cogent.
Mate, you're upsetting me and I'm not even there. This is crazy.
It's not what?
Not cogent.
Cogent.
Yes.
Go ahead.
If given a choice where an advertiser is saying like you have to censor all this content on the platform, irrespective of where their advertising appears, then our answer will be like, look, you can choose where you want your advertising, what you want your advertising to appear next to, but you can't insist on censorship of the entire platform. If you insist on censorship of the entire platform, even where your advertising doesn't appear, then obviously we will not want them as an advertiser.
So what would you say to advertisers who have left the platform or who are considering coming back or not coming back? What would you like to say to them?
Well, first of all, almost all of our advertisers are coming back to the platform. So it's a very short list of advertisers who are not coming back to the platform. And our advertising revenue is rising rapidly. And our subscription revenue is rising rapidly. And I feel very optimistic about the future of the X platform.
Okay. Listen, I'm honestly, I'm not meaning to offend you. You're an intense person. Where does that intensity come from?
I was born that way. And I had a tough childhood.
You did?
So, yeah.
How so?
Right, Walter Isaacson goes into it in the book, and we only have a couple minutes left, so
All right.
too long to describe. So the one or two questions I can do, and then we'll have to call it.
You should have asked that question earlier. My goodness.
Okay. Again, I don't mean to upset you. Why are you just...
No, I have a whole room full of people waiting to meet with me.
Wow.
Okay.
So we're just going over time.
Okay. All right. I understand that. So when you talk about, you said you were born that way. Is that, did you think that the way that you see the world has...
This guy's lost. He's lost it. He did not read the room. He didn't read the room early enough. At the beginning of this interview, Elon was jovial. He was in a good mood. He was joking around. He was open to discussion. And Elon's been on plenty of open discussions on X with many content creators, commentators, politicians, and he has been extremely transparent. This clown is literally a lemon. He leaves a sour taste in your mouth, and you can't make orange juice from a lemon. That's why I call this dude Done Lemon, because this ain't attractive. This is hard to watch, man, and I'm not joking. I'm serious. This is really hard to watch.
to do with your relationship with anyone, perhaps your father or someone in your family?
I think we're all affected by the people we grow up with. My aspiration is to do whatever it takes to extend consciousness into the future. That's my goal. To make life multi-planetary as part of extending consciousness into the future.
Have the past few years, and considering everything that's gone on, has it been difficult for you and your family life?
It's been okay.
So then how do you see your legacy, Elon?
If you had to put up Done Lemon, this is pointed at you. If you had to put up with the scrutiny that this man is being put up with, you wouldn't be able to leave your couch in your New York apartment. You would be bawling your eyes out with your bum in the air, your head in the pillow, I'm guessing eating a tub of ice cream, not being able to move, being paralyzed. This man has been knocked down from pillar to post. He puts everything on the line. He comes through. He doesn't complain. Well, I haven't heard him complain. He doesn't lead with it if he ever has. Let me know in the comments if he has. I'm sure there'll be some. Yeah, there will be some anti. I was going to say anti-Trumpers, probably the same group of people that, anti-Elon, anti-innovator, anti-capitalists. This guy's thinking many levels beyond the intelligence of Don Lemon. This guy's creating cars. He is creating rockets. Maybe he can help Don out. Maybe he can get one of those chips. Put 3 or 4 in Don Lemon's head if you can, Elon. Don Lemon Neuralink. That's the only thing that can save him. God. I was almost say it again. Goodness me.
How do you see how people see you in the...
First of all, I say that if I died knowing that I did what was right, or did my best to do what was right, and even if in the history books they said I did wrong, I would still feel okay about that. I care about the reality of goodness, not the perception of it. I think we should view civilization as tenuous, as fragile. If you do study history broadly, you'll see that there's a rise and fall to civilizations. They don't always go up. So we should do everything we possibly can to preserve and extend civilization as we know it.
Yeah.
And improve it. To become more enlightened over time. And we therefore want to address civilizational risks. We want to make sure that we don't have, for example, demographic collapse, which is the case in a lot of countries, just very low growth rate. We want to obviously avoid World War III, anything that is a civilizational risk. That's what I care about, civilizational risks. How do we extend consciousness into the future such that we are able to better understand the nature of reality?
Yeah.
That's what I care about. That's my motivation.
I know you have to go. If you'll just give me, I'll do a rapid fire thing here.
Now, see, that stuff's interesting. That's what I would want to hear from a person with this level of intelligence. Not what he thinks about LGBTQ, what he thinks about, people's skin colors, sexual orientation. Who gives a damn, man? This guy has got so much more to offer, and you're touching on those BS subjects. And Don Lemon is getting absolute clapback all over the internet. And deservedly so.
Is there anything that you would change about anything that you've done in your life in the past or recently?
I've made many mistakes over the years. If I had a time machine, I'd go back and fix them. But I don't have a time machine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So that's it. And as Elon would say, you be the judge.
So there we have it, folks. A very interesting perspective from a couple of people there that I listen to, I watch, and admire. The people on the PBD podcast and their guest, Dave Rubin. Now, Don Lemon, he's been getting slapped left, right, and center from all over the internet. He's going around bitching, moaning, screaming, and crying about his interview. Even coming out saying that, or implying that Elon Musk is homophobic and racist. Never heard anything so ridiculous, but this is Don Lemon, the master of ridiculous. Now, I had a couple of people in the comments section from the previous video asking me, hey, why didn't you watch the whole thing? Now, I found it truly uncomfortable. I was getting secondhand embarrassment for Don Lemon. As they say, you can't make orange juice from a lemon. The only thing you get is a sour taste in your mouth. And apart from the embarrassment, that's what I was left with. And some of the expressions on Elon's face, looks like he was left with the same thing. Now, Elon is such an interesting character. Not only is he an interesting character, he has given so much to this world. Say what you want about X or Twitter. It is one of the freest, most open platforms available on the planet today. Now, when I say that, what I mean by that also is that the scale and size of the platform, it is the freest and most open platform. It's not perfect. No one's claiming it's perfect. No one ever claimed it was perfect. And you won't get perfection, but you can't deny that it's not an improvement. Now, what I will deny that there's an improvement is Don Lemon. There's no improvement. There's zero improvement there. Now, if you want to watch part 1 to this video, you can click up here somewhere. Otherwise, that's it from me. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section and I will jump in there and respond as I normally do. If you want to help a brother out, help me get to the 1000 sub club, don't forget to hit that like. That's super important. Smash the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and share this video far and wide, folks. and I will see you shortly in the next video.